So many farmers know what to feed layer birds, but they don't understand why the feed has to change at every stage. In today's video, first of all, I'm going to provide a practical demonstration because I'm going to be mixing feed for my growers. They are currently 15 weeks and they will be making 16 weeks in like 3 to 4 days. They'll be making 16 weeks in 4 days. So I'm going to provide a practical demonstration for that. Though someone mentioned that they needed a feeding formulation from day 1 to point of lay, I currently don't have chicks on the farm, so I may not be able to provide a practical demonstration. However, I'm going to break it down on this whiteboard. The formulation I use from day 1 to the point of lay, literally from day 1 to the 10th week, because the practical demonstration, this formulation runs from the 11th week to the 17th week. I hope you have your notebook and pen ready to learn.
Morning comes too early. Hands are...
Hi my farm family, I welcome you back to the channel. If you're seeing me for the very first time, my name is Flavia. I'm a farmer who documents my poultry farming journey. I share what works, what fails, and what other farmers may never tell you. Enjoy the video. There is a lot to learn in today's video. So today we are mixing feed for our growers. Like I had earlier mentioned, they are 15 weeks old. They will be 16 weeks in 3 days from now. This formulation, I use it from the 11th week to the 17th week. And right here we have already our brand. We have had this brand on the farm for the past 20 days. It doesn't have any molds, but you can see it has changed the color a bit. It's not as white as it was. It doesn't have any molds, but because we have kept it for a very long time, 20 days, it's not as fresh as it was. So in this brand, I already assume we have toxins in this brand because it's not as fresh as it was. So we are going to add our toxin binder. I add toxin binder because our brand has, I'm already assuming it has aflatoxins, or call them toxins. So we are mixing 1000 kgs of feed today, and for brand we have put 530 kgs of brand, and we are putting 1 kilogram of the toxin binder because the brand is not as fresh since we've had it on the farm for a very long time. We've had it on the farm for the past 20 days. It doesn't have any molds in it, but because it's not fresh, we need to add in the toxin binder. So that our birds don't get any E. coli or any disease due to the toxins in the food. That's why I'm adding the toxin binder. When my brand is fresh or the maize, I don't need to add the toxin binder. I only add it when I know I've had the brand for quite a while. So after adding our maize brand 530 kgs, we added the toxin binder 1 kilogram. Remember, we are mixing 1 full ton of feed. And we have added our maize, our crushed maize. We have added 200 kgs. This is a standard formulation, so the brand is quite a lot. And at this stage, we need a balance of both. We need the energy and we need the fats from the brand as well, because we are still looking at the body weight, the muscles. We want our birds to gain the right muscles at this stage. Remember, these are growers. They are 15 weeks old. So after the maize, we have started our plant-based protein. As you can see, that's sunflower. And sunflower, we put 100 kilograms of sunflower. Kindly remember, we are mixing 1000 kgs. So we add 100 kgs of sunflower. At this stage, protein is very, very important because these growers are still developing the muscles, the feathers, and the body frame. Proteins help them to grow into strong and productive birds. After the sunflower, we are going to add our concentrate, and the concentrate we are going to do only 50 kilograms. The concentrate supply important vitamins, minerals, and nutrients needed for healthy growth and good immunity. and good immunity. That's why we are going to add the concentrates. A concentrate, I do 50 kilograms. This is a standard formulation. I don't alter it at this stage because I know this formulation provides them with the right growth, and I'm not looking at, I'm actually at this stage, I'm looking for growth and for them to lay at the right time. So we are still on our plant-based protein, and we are adding 100 kilograms of the soya meal. At this stage, because they're about to lay in the next 2 weeks, because they're about to lay, we start giving them the de-oiled soya. Before this, they were eating the soya with fats. Our calcium, we are adding the lime. We are putting 15 kilograms. But at this stage, I want them to get used to the shells, because when they start laying, I switch completely to shells. That's why I'm going to add 15 kilograms of lime, because growers need calcium for strong bones and healthy body development. But I keep it moderate because too much lime at this stage can affect proper growth and even stress the kidneys. So we've added 15 kilograms of lime, but because I want them to get used to the shells, because when they start laying, they'll be eating only shells and not the lime. So we are going to add also 5 kilograms of the shells. Our shells, and with shells, I mentioned we are putting 5 kilograms. Before this stage, they were eating only lime as the calcium, and in the next stage when they start laying, it's going to be only shells. That's why I'm doing a balance of both. I'm putting 15 lime and 5 shells. That's the complete formulation. So one of you asked me to share a feeding formulation for layers from day 1 to point of lay, and currently on the farm I don't have chicks, so I cannot share a practical demonstration. However, I'm going to break it down on this whiteboard so you can understand what to feed your chicks at each stage, and to know why you should feed them that way for proper development, the growth, and then the egg production. I'm going to be writing it down here. I hope you have your pen and notebook ready, because I'm going to be writing the feeding formulation for each stage, or what I do on the farm. Now for my layer chicks, week 1, when they arrive at the farm, from week 1 or from day 1 to the 7th day. Week 1, seven days, I feed them with pellets. Pellets are usually a complete feed which have all the nutrients. I prefer using pellets because I know I'm not gambling around, and since they are chicks on day 1, the particles are not supposed to be so big. Then all the nutrients are packed in just those small pellets. It's quite easier to use pellets. Then from week 2 to week 6, these are usually 5 weeks. 5 weeks. I mix for them here at the farm, but then I mix a broiler concentrate. One would ask, why are you feeding layers? A broiler feed, yet they are layers. When chicks are still at this stage, it doesn't matter whether they are layers or they are broilers. They all have the same nutritional needs. They all need proteins to grow fast. They need energy, and usually broiler feeds provide this. They need to build those muscles at this stage. When they don't grow very well, they may never lay, or they may lay so late. So that's why I mix for them a broiler feed. And also at this stage, my main concern is saying that my birds get the immunity that they need. I've ever tried giving my birds a completely local layer feed at this stage, but what happens is that in case your birds are attacked with a sickness at this stage and you're not giving them the right feed, then their immunity will be down and you will experience a lot of mortalities. So it's better to give them a very good feed which builds their immunity, builds their muscles. So at this stage, for the 5 weeks, I use a broiler feed, and this is how I mix it. I had noted it down. I get a broiler concentrate, usually the 25% broiler concentrate. And if I'm going to mix a ton, 1000 kgs, for the broiler concentrate, I put 250 kgs. Then I add brand. And with brand, I put 250 kgs as well. Then I add the maize. And with this, I put 500 kgs. There are so many broiler concentrates on the market. You'll see 30%, 35%, so many. But me, I prefer the 25% because it gives me what I want at that stage, the weight, the muscles, the immunity. And it's also more cost effective than the 35% or the 30%. So I prefer to use this. Then from week, let me wrap this down. We are going to week 7 to 10 weeks. Yeah. Week 7 to 10 weeks. These are 4 weeks as well. Week 7 in age to 10 weeks, I switch from the broiler concentrate to the layer concentrate. Because when birds, the layers, stay on a broiler feed for so long, they develop so much fat, then they lay very late, they may even never lay. Then it also disrupts their reproductive system. So I switch from the broiler concentrate and I start the layer concentrate. Here I usually follow the standard formulation. I don't alter it in any way. So I still use the 5% and 5% concentrate. Still, I'm mixing a ton, 1000 kgs. So 5% concentrate. I put 60 kilograms. Then the lime. At this stage, any responsible farmer knows that these birds are starting to need the calcium. So we introduce the lime. And still at this stage, I don't use shells because shells are so high in calcium. So I just use the lime at this stage. It's even more cost effective. Yeah. So I put 20 kgs of lime. Then I add the maize. 180 kgs. Remember, we are mixing 1000 kilograms. Then I add the brand, which is 520 kilograms. I'm not able to provide a practical demonstration because the birds that I have on the farm are above this age. I only have layers and my growers are almost making 16 weeks. So that's why I'm writing this on a whiteboard so you can be able to copy it down. Then soya. At this stage, I use the soya which has fats, not the oiled soya, because at this stage we are still looking for the body weight, but not the so much fats. So I use I put 120 kgs. Then sunflower. I put 100 kgs. So this is a standard formulation. I don't alter it in any way at this stage. So we are going to the next stage, which is the 11th week to 17 weeks. Still, that will be a pre-lay stage because from week 1 to 17 weeks, they've not yet started laying. But we change from the 11th week to the 17th week. There are so many formulations. That farmers use depending on the concentrate you're using. But I prefer to use this because, first of all, like I mentioned, it's cost effective. It's really cost effective. Remember, at this stage, you're not earning from these birds. But at the same time, you want them to grow really well. You want them to lay at the right time. You want them to gain the right body muscles. You want them to have good immunity. So I follow the standard formulation. But please note that even if you follow these formulations, as long as you don't get good quality feeds, you will not get the results that you want. So make sure you're given dry crushed maize, you're given dry bran. Then for the soya and sunflower, they all have to be of good quality. So I hope you've noted this down from week 1 to the 17th week. So as you noticed in the first weeks, layers and broilers have similar nutritional needs. They all need vitamins, they need the proteins, the minerals. So that's why in the first week I give them pellets, because pellets provide that it's a complete feed. And pellets give them the strong immunity, the early body frame, the internal organs, the feathers. They help in all that. Actually, some farmers feed pellets from week 1 to the 4th week or to the 5th week, but pellets are quite expensive. It doesn't make economic sense to me. That's why after week 1, I switch from pellets to the broiler concentrate, because still at that stage, I'm looking at getting the right body weight. We want them to develop rapidly, fast. That's why I switch to the broiler concentrate, and I mix it the way I mix it, because broiler concentrates are very high in proteins. Then from the 7th week upwards, I switch from the broiler concentrate to the layer concentrate. All broiler farmers, all responsible farmers know that if you stay on the broiler concentrate for so long, yet you're feeding layer chicks, first of all, they will develop reproductive problems. They may never lay. They will develop a lot of fats. That's why I switch to the layer concentrate to balance the calcium, the proteins, and the energy. A well-fed chick from day 1 gives really good results in production. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, to comment, to share, and to also hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. See you in another one. May the good Lord bless you. Bye-bye.